Hi there. Hello. Why did you put the thing in there? Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to this year's first episode of What the Hell's Wrong with Dead by Daylight. Thank you, Bjorn, for helping us make this a wonderful thing again. Thank you, Sarah, for joining me today.
No problem.
It's gonna be good. Welcome, everyone. We haven't seen you in forever. I hope you had a good time playing for double blood points. I will dismiss this reminder that I have to do my weekly Twitch stream. We have a few things to discuss today, but not many, because obviously we're back from vacation and we are rolling on with our stuff. We're not going to be delivering everything today, but we do have a few very tasty nuggets to get to. We should probably say hi to our mods. Do you have a list of our mods?
I suppose.
Oh, come on. All right.
Oh.
You shout out.
Okay. Today's special thanks goes to Clyde, Dova, Lucy, Getawid,
Moobot.
Well, always Moobot. He does good work.
He is consistent.
Pino, Sassy, Shiroku, and Suggestive.
Thank you very much for all of you to join us. All right, so the winter event was a pretty big success. There was a lot of people that really got excited about it. We got a big, nice surge of players playing at the same time. It was good. It seems like people enjoyed the snow in there. We will be sending out a survey to all of you out there. To get your feedback on it, what you liked, what you didn't like, what we should do next time, how we should do it, and then we will look at that. So it's something that Gabrielle is going to take care of in the coming weeks, I guess. It shouldn't be too long. So there. The emblems.
Yes.
The emblems are coming. Everybody knows that. We talked about the PTB for the emblems, the public test build that would be put out to people to test those functionalities and give us feedback on. At this time, the PTB will not happen until we have released the next chapter, which does mean that there is a next chapter.
There is a next chapter.
It is coming. And this is probably the chunky bit that we will be talking about today. So we wanted to do the emblems PTB before, but because of some problems of whatever, organizational pipeline kind of thing.
Well, and there's changes that we've done recently that we wanted to test and make sure we're ready before they get included in that test build for you guys.
So, yeah. So, yes, PTB, I'll repeat it, is the public test build, which means that we put a, you can put in a code and have an alternate version of the game in your Steam client. And when you launch that, you don't accumulate progression, but you can play a different version. Think of test servers on a few different MMOs and other things like that. So you're able to play an alternate version of the game that has unfinished mechanics, so that you can give us your feedback on those mechanics before we actually take them and put them on the live build.
Exactly.
That makes sense? Okay. Another ultra underpowered killer for sure. Am I right? Yes, as designed. No, it's not what we're doing. Actually, let's start with that. I want to show the killer perk. Do you have the icon for this? You've seen that icon. You've
Maybe.
made that icon. That's a bit small. Can you make it flutter? Okay. So no, it's not fluttering. No, that's you fluttering. That's not helping. Okay, so this one is called the Hangman's Trick. Hangman's Trick. It's unpleasant to my French mouth.
Hangman's Trick.
Yeah, thank you. Will Freddie Mercury be a survivor in the future?
I mean, you hate to say no, but
He would be overpowered, for
I
sure.
think, yeah.
Although
I mean,
he is not very good at stealth.
no.
I would assume that between him and probably like Liberace would
Yes.
be a tie on how you can be seen. Yeah. So Freddie Mercury, yeah, okay, I'll think about it. And then I'll be denied by other people. So that perk, Hangman's Trick, what it does. is it's modifications to the hook. You can take it off. It's interesting, but it's not as gorgeous as this. Hooks destroyed by sabotage or sacrifices repair after 30, 20, or 10 seconds. And you gain a notification when someone starts sabotaging the hooks. That means that even the hooks that you sacrificed people on will come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a bit of a crazy one, I think. And I expect that it's gonna become part of, garbage. Wow. Okay, so divided opinions. That's the important thing. Trash. Nice. Okay. Good. So you take the time to think about it, and you scream at each other. Yeah, we totally ruined the game. Ah, crap.
Well, that's sort of the usual response to perks at first
Uninstall.
blush.
There you go. Until we actually put it in, and then you can reinstall it
Yes.
and enjoy it. So that's the perk for the upcoming killer that's in the next chapter. That's gonna be good. And I want to talk about a perk for our survivor for the next chapter. But I cannot show you the icon because
Spoilers.
there would be information in there that I don't want you to have. I do actually. I do want you to have that information, but I'm not allowed. The perk is called Tenacity, and it says, there's nothing stopping you. Your ferocious tenacity in dire situation allows you to crawl 30, 40, 50% faster and recover at the same time. I played with that and I like it, and it's an obvious good mix with Unbreakable. But yeah, no, it does change a few things.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. Wow, trash. No, not so much trash on this one.
That's good.
Okay. You what? Rip slugging. OP is fun. Okay, well, you know. we do our best. Don't worry, the other ones are crap.
Absolute trash.
Seriously. You people. Good thing I love you. Alright. So, next I will go to a nice little table of... do we have questions about that? There shouldn't be really questions.
Well, it's more people pumping for more information. So
Like what?
They want to know the killer's gender.
Oh.
They want to know if it's a licensed killer.
Oh.
They want to know
Well, these are all very valid
the
questions.
color of their hair.
If they have any.
Do they like cheesecake? I made that one up. I want to know if they like cheesecake.
I don't know. Well, everybody
do.
likes cheesecake. No, not everybody.
Not
There's a few weirdos who don't.
everybody. I like cheesecake.
Yes, of course. You're not a weirdo.
Of course I am.
I kind of weirdo. Okay, next we have a few screens here, or one or two screens. Yeah, so our friendly data wizard created another little presentation on stats. This is the Bloody Stats edition, Carmen San Diego. Okay, that's interesting. Essentially, you did a little bit of digging into what's the proportion of countries where people play more as killer or more as survivor.
Right.
The important thing to know about this is that it is completely and utterly irrelevant, and the conclusions that we take from this should not matter to anybody in any way.
This is just for fun.
First of all, the geolocalization of people is an approximation in certain
Right.
cases, because you can set it to whatever you want
Well,
in Steam.
VPNs
And
do
VPNs
exist.
do exist. And there's also the case, like for instance, I think that in his table, any countries with 10 or fewer players is not in there. Obviously, it's not relevant.
But 11.
And it's a proportion, but that's it. So some countries have 53 players. and
Yes.
So, you know. Anyway, you can show the first one, which essentially says, okay, so at least 50% of matches are played as a killer. And at the bottom, you have the actual proportion. So the countries that are darker red have up to that proportion of players that play more killer matches than survivor. And the countries which are yellow or white have fewer players who play as killer all the time. So the next slide actually has a few pointers for specific places. There you go. I was expecting Canada to be one of the nicer countries, just because it's, you know, it's cliche.
I think we're nice, but with like a tiny core of meanness.
But there is also the frustration. We get tense a little bit. France is surprisingly gentle. So we have Myanmar, which is the angriest country we see in there, and Tunisia.
Yeah.
And then we have Malaysia. It's probably the nicest place.
Bangladesh.
Oh yeah, Bangladesh is actually full of very, very nice players. So there you go. Extremely interesting graphic that serves no purpose
But
whatsoever today.
But it's kind of fun.
Well, so Myanmar 30%. We don't know why, and also we don't. That table does not tell you how many players we have there,
Nope.
which is probably not that big.
Nope.
So the most of the African countries actually do not have more than 10 players. I know we have a
Yeah.
few sales in there,
Mhm.
but it's ridiculously small numbers. Yeah, and those are for PC only, as I understand. Not that it really matters much. Next, I do have a few Q&A questions from the Q&A questions. Yes,
Okay.
it's like the PDF format.
Right.
It's the exact same thing. So, do I go to that, or do you want to
Do my
go dig in your
my
bucket?
secret bucket.
So, yeah, you brought a bucket. Then let's go to your
Brought a
bucket. It'll be
bucket.
fun.
So, what is
What's
this?
in the bucket?
It's not really a bucket. It's Nancy's jar. I borrowed it because I needed something to contain my little friends here. One of the things that gets posted a lot on social media is killer suggestions from the community. So we went through a couple of them, both mostly on Steam and Reddit. And I've picked out a couple that I thought were kind of fun. Some of them are on the older side, so killers that have come out since then are very similar, maybe, but so take all of that with a grain of salt. But this is just sort of a fun little thing that I thought we'd do. We'll do a couple. We don't have to do all of them. So that you guys can kind of get an idea of what we see from your suggestions. So the important thing is Matt doesn't know these. Only I do. So, first one. The Siren.
Ooh.
This is from Leo on Steam. And it's got kind of a nautical revenge theme. I'm only listing the power here, but almost always these suggestions come with a full list of
Lore
perk
and
and
perks,
lore
yeah.
and what they look like. So I encourage you guys to go and check them out, 'cause some of them are really cool. The power is Siren's Song.
Makes sense.
You emit a song that causes all survivors to drop their guard after 10 seconds. This causes their auras to be revealed. There's more to it. I think there's a decay to it, and you can, after a certain time, you know, it can come back, and it's kind of like a madness thing, but with auras specifically. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, and,
That's kind of cool. I think that this would be, it would force us to create a map with an aquatic theme, like a
I
lake
know,
or a river or
right?
something. Yeah. Okay. That would be cool.
So, one thing I did notice is aura reading for killers is a popular thing.
Yeah.
You get to pick.
Ooh, I have big paws.
All right.
Can we have a rubbish bin to put unwanted items in? I assume you mean in game.
Oh, like a
oh, in the-
sort of recycle the add-ons you don't want or the offerings you
No,
don't
no,
want.
so not in the game, but actually in your loadout. Let's
Oh,
say,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you can drop shit
Like
that you don't want.
I don't want that.
Yeah, we talked about like
Mhm.
being able to grind those into whatever the
Mhm.
hell.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think it's off the table. We just need to figure out
What-
the right time and
Yeah.
how
Well,
it fits
because
in
I
with all
think
the
that
other features.
destructing them for the sake of destruction would not really be
Yeah,
Like it would make no
you
sense.
spent
You
blood
might as
points
well
on it,
accumulate
so
it.
we should figure out a way to manage that with the current economy stuff. So the next one is the Pyromaniac.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pirate for a second, but the pyro.
Nope.
Okay.
Pirate Maniac? No, Pyromaniac. From Milaro on Reddit. His power, unsurprisingly, is flamethrower.
And now I just have pictures of those beautiful Meet the Pyro from Team Fortress.
Yes, I know, so great.
Do go on.
So you charge up the power, and it releases a cone of fire for 3 seconds that induces a burning state. This burning state must be cleansed, otherwise the survivor will be downed if they have not been doused by another survivor.
Okay. But why does that bring so many inappropriate images?
So many inappropriate images.
Okay, so let's put the dowsing in the maybe pile then.
So yeah.
No, but that's kind of cool. And just, again, it'd be a really cool fire effect. We do have fire in the game, obviously, but carrying it around would make Johnny have nightmares, I'm sure.
Yes. Exactly.
I want another one.
Okay.
Is it the one that you wanted?
Well, there's one in there that I adore, but
Is it this one?
No, it's probably not this one. This one is the Convict from Bot Easy on the Steam forums. His power is a bullwhip, and he unleashes a longer range attack after a short warmed-up time. So this one came out or was posted to the forums before the Huntress came out, and this character's sort of thing is all about reaching people over pallets and that kind of stuff, which is something, of course, we addressed with Miss Huntress.
Yeah, but a short range kind of repeat thing could be interesting.
like rather
you can't do the across the map thing, but
it's more like a.
But you never run out of ammo.
Yeah.
And when you grab someone, you can just pull them or something.
Yeah.
Like
there's
Scorpion.
Yeah, there's definitely another one in here that is Scorpion, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do we keep going?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Well, I've got nothing else to do.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pick this one.
Bjorn, you busy today? Okay, let's keep going.
The one. Fuck yeah! Sorry.
So that's the one.
It's the one I really liked.
Okay.
Just because I thought it would be really cool to look at. This one is The Bride, and in brackets, Bloody Mary, by SlickRick0133 on Reddit. And he envisioned her as a sort of Victorian-era bride, and her power is reflection. She can create a doppelganger reflection of the survivors. The survivors run around and behave normally as much as AI can. Do generator, well, not really do generators, but attempt to perform stuff in the game. The trick is she can assume control of these reflections and see what they see. Attacking through this, when she hits the attack button while she's in control of one of these things, the reflection shatters and she is revealed.
A bit like the hag then.
A little bit like a hag, but like with like a roving trap kind of thing.
Well, that's a pretty cool one.
I thought that was kind of cool. Just because it, I don't know, had some neat imagery.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I'll definitely have to look up some of the images for that one.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, okay. We'll answer some questions and we'll see where we are on time after that. So I as usual, Murph posted a thing on Steam, and then we got a bunch of questions, and then he sort of cleans them up more or less, and then I go around and ask people on the team for answers on this. So we'll see what we get. If crows are servants of the entity, what would you call killers? Slaves? That's a very good question. I like that kind of question. I would call them servants too. I might be wrong. But yeah. I would call them servants of the entity in this sense.
Like a guest, maybe?
They're not guests. Some of them are not particularly happy to be there.
No, I suppose that's not the case.
Yeah, and it's not a choice. Survive with friends, balance when? So that's a big, spiky question. So we're addressing the global balance. I was talking to Stéphane Horvat about that. He's saying that we are constantly making changes, and the idea for them right now is to try to make it so that the solo experience of the survivor becomes much, much closer to the experience of survivors in groups of friends. So you
Right.
don't have much more information. There's a parity on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time making sure that all of these survivor experiences are correctly balanced with the killers. So the option, the second part of the question is an option for killers to toggle or at least recognize Swifts. It might not be needed if this experience becomes balanced, but in all eventuality, it could very well never be absolutely balanced. Therefore, it might be needed to at least inform the killers or reward them somehow. So we're keeping that in mind. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly the answer you wanted, but that's what's happening right now. Since the Bloodwed Cube, you cannot get specific add-ons anymore from chests by using the perk Ace in the Hole. That is correct. Ultra rares do not drop in chests anymore. They are for the Bloodweb only. Would it be possible to change this perk so you can get ultra rare add-ons from chest except brand new part? What might happen is that some add-ons might get their rarity lowered, so that they might drop in chests.
Right, exactly.
Instead of saying, okay, some ultra rare may drop in chests, but others won't. The idea being that ultra rare Thomas is dealing with the rarity of everything and the economy of the whole game, and ultra rares being in the blood web only is critical to his sanity. What is this? Any plans on a ping limitation type of implementation to help with getting into lobbies with acceptable ping? Waiting 5 minutes to get into a lobby, then leaving to leave because 500 ping is very frustrating. Yeah, that's a difficult one. I'm not going to get into that one right now. It'd be nice to be able to limit that, but then it would probably also mean that some people are just plain told you can never play.
Yeah, I mean that's always the trade-off is managing the best experience for players, but at the same time making sure that everybody who wants to play can.
Yeah.
Challenging.
Yeah. Any PTB for badge system? So I talked about it after the next chapter is released. When will we get more customization options for newer non-licensed survivors and killers? News on those David and Fung costumes. Well, this is soon.
Unbelievable.
I totally said that. Yeah. But yeah, there's some people working on that as we speak.
Yeah.
Those things are being
Definitely.
created. Recently you talked about licensed movie killers you would like to see added to the game. That's when we have the border around the whole screen that says this is all made up shit and will not happen, okay?
Exactly.
I mentioned Pinhead because that's one of my favorites that I would like to see in the game. What are some licensed video game killers you would like to see in Dead by Daylight? This does not mean it will happen, just things you believe would be cool. So I have my own, but what's yours?
Friday Night at Freddy's.
Alright, Five Nights at
Five
Freddy's?
Nights at Freddy's, yes.
Okay.
Friday Night.
I think Hunter from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
That would be a cool killer.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Definitely.
Yeah. There are many, to be fair. The problem is usually the most iconic ones are really big bosses, and they're sort of weird to
Right.
balance. And also because they are in a video game, there's usually expectations about how they should be.
Right.
So it's difficult.
And
Yeah,
then-
people are like, Pyramid Head. Like, yeah, it's a good look.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, we kind of have a nurse, but
Yeah.
not really.
Well, yeah.
It's a nurse.
Yeah. Will we ever see more of the entity itself? I really like its concept. Well, thank you. And probably. I mean,
Yeah.
as we continue telling the story of Dead by Daylight and we keep shining the light in the dark corners of that world, you will see more and more bits of that entity. So, yeah, be ready for that to happen. The entities look, especially what we call the daddy fingers that come and grab you when you're on the hook.
Big Daddy, I think is its actual name in the code.
One of the inspiration for this was the video clip for that Belgian
yeah,
singer we like, Stromae.
yes,
Stromae. Yeah, and the song is called
Cancer.
and it's
Yeah.
really the goosebump-inducing song, and the video is super creepy. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, can we potentially have a panel with the people who first had the lore ideas? As a budding creative writer and idea creator, I would love to hear about the process that went into creating the world of the entity, as well as all the survivors and killer backgrounds. Sure, we can do that. You can also look at most of the early videos that we've published, because
There was
it's
one
Ash
that-
and Dave
Yeah,
mostly.
there was one that we had fairly recently. Like, I don't know if it was in December or November.
Probably when I was in there.
Where we had Ash and Dave on, and the two of them basically just talked about
Reminisced.
what it took at the beginning and how they sort of formed the idea to what you can play now.
So I'm sure that in the summary, Mr. Wheezy, in the summary of this episode, one of our very talented and hardworking mods will put the link to that specific video of Ash and Dave talking. Could we get perkless mode for next anniversary, pretty please? Yes, I even put 2 exclamation marks, because I know that more than 2 is a sign of mental instability. So, right now we are working, and I'm probably giving too much info, it doesn't matter, I like to do that, but we're working on different timed events and special modes and things like that to shake things up a little bit. And one of the things is to have it so that, for a certain amount of time you'd be able to get into the game with specific set of rules that are different from the regular. Perkless is probably one of the simpler ones and really cool ones that we could do. There are others, things with timers, with alternate goals, insta kills, whatever. There's a bunch of different things we could do to make it even to the extreme of 2 killers in the map or something, where we could have alternate modes. And this is something that we're hoping to get this year, in the next coming year. So perkless modes could very well happen, yes. It's from someone called Quebec with K's. So, what do you think about giving daily rituals tier-based rewards? Example, a daily repaired gens would give tier 1 reward at 3 repairs, tier 2 at 7, etc. So I asked Thomas, because that's the kind of stuff he does all day.
Yes.
And his answer was very complex and in French, and the short answer is the daily rituals have been reworked not so long ago, but they are not in their final form.
No.
We're retouching the progression and the reward system, and we want to make sure that the daily rituals will reward casual players or players who don't play as much, like they do right now, much more, but they will also offer something exciting for people who are extreme players. So that's also something that is being worked on right now. I have a question. Can Bjorn type the song name? People are asking.
The song name? Oh!
Cancé.
Cancé.
It's in French.
It's a play on words.
Yeah, a pune. Is it possible that we will see firecrackers or party starters as an actual permanent item now?
Maybe?
Well, I asked Orvat that question. It's in the long time plan. It's also been planned for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy. I put
No.
that there. And there are quite a lot of different versions right now of the firecrackers or those objects. 2 of them have been publicly available.
Yep.
But we have, I think, 5 under us, and we already have a bunch of add-ons done. So the goal is to have that be released as a full-on new item at some point, but we're not there. We are not there. How much time do you need to design a menu, Sarah? I'm assuming it means how many iterations? So, how much time? I mean, it's an impossible question, but...
Well, it's not impossible, it's just, there's some more bits to it. The time it takes to design any UI piece is dependent on the complexity of the feature. How much interactions it has to do with the rest of the game. Is it just a visual update? I can probably do most of that myself without having to talk to anyone else. So, much shorter time. But if it's a big feature, a Blood Web-esque level feature, that can take quite a while.
That's very precise. Will the in-game matchmaking system go back to the Steam region matchmaking? Most likely not. The way we have to ping your geolocation right now is more accurate because it's not a personal choice. It's actually where can we ping you. So we'll probably keep it at that. I know that it means that you can't say, oh, let's all go play in Toronto right now, and then you're all matched together. So yeah, but you know, most likely will not go back to Steam region matchmaking.
Yes.
With the success of the Nintendo Switch, any plans to bring DVD to Nintendo Switch? No plans right now. Mostly because compared to PS4 and Xbox One, it would need to be a completely different version of the game.
Yes.
I think that the Nintendo Switch is different enough, like all Nintendo products, that unless you create a version of the game that's specifically for that, you're not doing it justice. So we don't have plans to do that right now. But I did get a Switch for the holidays for myself. That was my gift, and I was very happy. I played quite a lot during the holidays. Last question. Mr. K asked, when will the mist be optimized again? Okay. So we did some changes on the way the mist is rendered. You probably all noticed it. The changes were actually, they came from us optimizing the game, and it's purely on the trying to make sure FPS goes up for all consoles and everything, and it had an effect on the gameplay. And so right now we're dealing with that after effect, and we're saying we're not exactly happy. I mean, it's not bad, but we're not exactly happy with the way the fog is going, the mist is behaving right now. So we're going to change it again, and hopefully we'll make it that it's even more optimized and efficient, so that it takes less of a toll on the frame rate. There we go. So yes, it is not the final way the mist should be. Can we get a red and gold Fung outfit for the Year of the Dog in February? Oh, wouldn't that be good?
Something to think about, sure.
All right. Please, yeah. No, I'm not gonna take a week. Seriously, Ludzi, get your shit together. It's okay, I like it. But no. What about a workshop for customizing killers and survivors? Oh yes, so the Steam workshop.
Yeah.
That's something that keeps coming back, and it's something we absolutely want to get. Probably something that's close to the way. Obviously, Dota is probably the game that uses the workshop in one of the nicest way because it's so detailed and they have all the tools there and everything. But my point is that it probably be a place where people could showcase stuff that they've created for us using our system, so that if the community votes that they want this, and then we obviously we vet it, we can take it and put it in the game with minimal pain. So yeah, that's something we'd really love to do. Please, can you show a silhouette of the new killer? No, we cannot. Well, first of all, we didn't prepare anything.
No.
So that's not gonna happen. But I can say that killer can sometimes look a little like this, but it's just a pose.
My personal favorite is this. It's a good pose.
It's accurate. So yeah, let's. I think that's it for me. I have no more questions from this. Oh, what's it? No, it just went way too fast.
There's a lot going on.
It's okay, Ludzi. Everybody loves you.
I jot down a couple.
Oh, do you want to?
I
yes.
might be
Go.
able to
This is your
answer.
moment.
The obvious one. Will the next chapter be free?
I cannot comment on this right now.
Marketing.
Yeah.
One suggestion that a bunch of you brought up, and I apologize for not getting your names. what about a way to save builds?
Oh yeah, like having a few alternate loadouts.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's something we'd love to do. Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have a plan for that?
Probably.
Okay.
Plan for everything.
Yeah, well, obviously. But is it something that we've worked on that might happen?
That specifically, probably not. There's a couple other things that we want to get in before that.
Yeah.
Which I can't really talk about yet, but hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, quality of life things are something that Horvath and I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And there's lots that we hear from you guys, and we wanna get into the game.
One of the things I can say about the new chapter is we are doing everything we can right now so that it comes out on PC and console at the same time.
Simultaneous.
Yes.
Pretty
I'm very excited about
Yeah, it's pretty great.
that. You took other notes?
I did.
But you can't remember?
I can't remember who they were by.
It's okay.
Survive with Friends chaining. So
Yeah,
that
that's,
as
I
a
mean,
group-
since day one, we've wanted
Exactly.
that. The bigger issue with that is the same actually as why if you drop out of a game you can't go back in,
Yeah.
is the fact that the system we have does not have an overwatcher to make sure where you are at all times. So once you're disconnected and
That's-
you're
yeah.
back in the void. So it's really not a simple matter to do that. It's been, it's one of those things that seems to have been like on top priority for the next thing you're gonna do, but everything else gets in the way and it's been
Yeah.
pushed back. It's been my top priority for 2 months. I haven't worked on it yet. So yeah.
And this one I just wrote down because I thought it was kind of cute and funny. Why can killers see survivors in the lobby, but survivors can't see the killer?
It was supposed to be unfair.
Yes.
It was supposed to be to give survivors a disadvantage so that they prepare for what they think is coming, and then the killers can see what's being prepared and react to that. So I guess I shouldn't put a conditional on that. It
No,
is why.
that is why.
That's why. There you go.
Exactly.
So there. Shall we go to my most favorite part of the show ever?
If you insist.
Okay. Okay, let's get to some of the really cool stuff that I found on the interwebs last week. So the first thing I have, I should get my list out so that I actually can tell you who made what. This one is from Alex. Something. Well, it's actually written right there. Love it. Very nicely done, that Huntress. Thank you very much. The next one is Bacchus Pie, I believe. It's the second part of a little strip, but it's adorable. So I saw a few more actual comic strips, at least a few frames, and I love those. So please keep doing those.
Aw.
Beta Dwight created this beautiful little holiday caroling group thing.
Aw.
It's I don't know why Jake can't smile. That guy, seriously.
Too serious.
Yeah. Endico made this. The Huntress, again, I keep being impressed by how, I guess, inspiring the Huntress is and how that look works well, and made some people got inspired for cosplay and just for it struck a chord, definitely.
Popular.
Lactaway made this.
Oh, Leatherface.
It's so nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's delightful.
Mango Cat Chaw. Mango Cat Chaw? I don't know. That's the really loose translation of a Chinese name that I got. Created this. I kind of totally see that on the wall of a
Can we get a top hat for Chuckles?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh my god, I want that.
That would be great. And I feel like he's got lipstick on his mask on this one.
Well, you know, he's
Then-
getting a little fancy.
Yeah, he's a little fancy. Then Meekest made this. The most surprising bit for me is I would have switched Dwight and Jake in my head when I imagined them.
Yes.
But this works too.
Yes.
It totally does.
Scooby Ace. Oh my
It's
god.
great. Miss Kitty created this. It's Chuckles and Myers watching The Thing.
I love her trapper. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
But if you fall into the Miss Kitty blog, there is some there's some stuff in there. There's some stuff in there.
there's stuff.
So yeah, please keep going. Is all I'll say. And next we have Maury Me Daddy, who made this delightful little winter cosplay.
Hey, it's a snowman!
Yes. It's the unhappy bloody snowman
Oh, that's
with
awesome.
Nia. So thank you very much for that. This is a picture of Sandy Mizaki, because it's hard to not have her all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Created this Huntress figurine. Really, again, well done. Thank you for your continued
So good.
madness.
So good.
Yeah. Turtle Paradox, I believe, created this, or this was created by Halfwire Paradox for Turtle Paradox, celebrating 200 something. I think 200 maybe subscribers on Twitch or something like that. Anyway, congrats are in order, and this
Yeah.
is really, really nice.
Yeah.
Some people have talent, and it annoys me. Then we have Wet for Rate, who made this beautiful holiday rate bell thing.
Awesome.
With my Gmod made this
Oh,
really,
wow.
really nice little mashup.
But like,
But that's the little sister
I
from
know.
Bioshock. So
but you've seen the room in the Hunter's Lodge.
yeah, it's not
Like,
nice. It's not nice.
That's not nice.
No, but there's
Ah.
caring, but misplaced,
Like-
or you know.
Yeah.
And the last one, unfortunately, I do not have the artist's name on this. You don't have the last one? That's terrible. Okay, let me copy and paste it into the folder now, and hopefully it'll work. Give me a second, people. This is annoying. Can you tell us an amusing anecdote while I do this? No.
Can I?
Okay. Oh, how do I not have access to this?
Well, I'll answer.
Okay,
Oh wait, never mind. You ready? Is it happening?
almost.
Stay on target.
You can answer a question.
It's from Flame Standish. It's not actually a UI question. He's asking, can head customization be split into head and accessories?
Yes. So yeah, did you want to answer that? No.
As best I can, not being the person whose domain this is. Unfortunately, no. When we started the game, developing the game, we made some decisions about how the customizations are grouped up. And while there is a fairly good breakdown of pieces, that kind of detail is probably not going to happen.
So, okay. The last image from an unknown artist. I would really like to be able to give props to that person because it's well deserved. Thank you.
The lips!
Just thank you.
Good grief.
That makes me happy.
It's good. It's good.
So Dwight.
It's good.
Okay, and we will end on some words of wisdom from my favorite author of all times, because we were talking about Terry Pratchett before the show, which we tend to do actually. And I will pick one here at random that says, the trouble with having an open mind, of course, is that people will insist on coming along and trying to put things in it. That's not joyful.
Better to have a closed mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Let nothing in.
Yeah. It was I think there was a Warhammer 40k game where the horrible quotes from the Emperor. It's always beautiful stuff, and it said, "An open mind is like a fortress with its gates open." Wow. Anyway, so in the end, that's where we are. Thank you very much for joining us. The news, as I said, well, there's not much news. There's a new chapter coming, so there's that. The PTB is going to happen after the chapter is released. Hopefully, and we're really aiming right now for the chapter to be released on consoles and PC at the same time. We will have a winter event survey that will be sent shortly. And for some reason, Myanmar is a country where people prefer to play killer, it seems. Other than that, that's all I got. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Sarah, for joining me here today. Bjorn, once again, great job. And that's it. Go back to playing the game, and we'll see you next week.